This time we are seeing chapter 15. We'll do the first verse of the Gita Dhyanam and then we'll see. Om Parthaya Pratibodhitam Bhagavata Narayanena Swayam Vyasena Grathitam Puranamuna Madhye Mahabharatam Advaitamritavarshini Bhagavati Ashtadashadhyayini
Amba Tvamanusandadhami Bhagavad Gita Bhavadveshini.
We'll chant verse number 5. Nirmana moha jita sanga doshaha
Nirmana moha jita sanga doshaha
Adhyatma nitya vinivritta kama
Adhyatma nitya vinivritta kama
Dvandvair vimukta sukha dukha sanyai
Dvandvair vimukta sukha dukha sanyai
Gacchantya mudha padamavyayam tat
Gacchantya mudha padamavyayam tat
Gacchantya mudha padamavyayam tat
Gacchantya mudha padamavyayam tat.
If you go into the kitchen in the old days where there is chulha, you know, a wooden stove with no calibrated control. Phukni, you know, that is control. But only one way control, you make sure you blow only. If you pull, so in that type of kitchen, you're almost guaranteed to get what is called a black soot on you, right? And if you get black soot on you, there is only one way to remove that black soot. And that is to take out the suit that you're wearing and to wash it. Or if you get it on your hand, to go and wash it. No amount of praying, no amount of worship, no amount of meditation or anything will get rid of that black suit. In the very same way, when we live in the chulha of this sansar, we get black soot on us. Kama, man, krodha, attachment, anger, pride, agitations of the mind. All of these things we go on getting in this samsara. But they're etched onto the mind. The black soot comes on the skin or the clothes, right? And they're etched onto the mind. These negative tendencies. Likes and dislikes, raga, dvesh. All the different types of pairs of opposite, dvandva. And no amount of praying will get rid of them. Every person has to first notice them in his heart and he has to remove them from his personality. Means effort has to be made. That is the idea. Effort has to be made. This is a very, very, very important thing, you see. A person cannot have anger. Heart is full of anger all the time. And I go on every day doing puja to get rid of the anger. what will happen? The anger will not go away, bury puja, and I'll get more angry. It means I have to sit quietly and first of all accept in my mind that I have anger. I have a problem. First part is accepting I have a problem. Then with the guidance of the Bhagavad Gita, I study this problem. Bhagavan says, if you have anger, it means you have some desire which did not get fulfilled. So I take the guidance of the scripture. Then I go back to which desire I have, which is not getting fulfilled, which is causing me to get angry. And that desire, which is not being fulfilled, I have to drop it. The desire itself arises from an attachment to something. That again is in Gita. So what am I attached to? What am I feeling that I cannot do without? What am I feeling that my life is not complete without? I identify that thing. And then, again with the help of the scriptures, I come to understand, no, my life is fine. With this thing or without this thing, I am still me. Whether I have that thing or I don't have it, I am still me. Like that, I remove the attachment for the thing. If the attachment goes, the desire goes. The desire goes, the anger goes. So I have to trace this thing properly. If I do not seek out in me what is the cause, the root cause, and remove that cause, the effect will always produce itself. The effect will always be coming. The effect is anger, let us say. I'm just using one example. And in this regard, prayers will not help to remove the thing. Prayers will not help to remove that anger. Prayers may help you to bring a certain amount of integration of the mind, so that I'll be able to witness the anger, witness the desire, witness the attachment, but the effort to remove it, I'll have to make with the study of the scriptures. Each mala or dirt, impurity, is removed in a certain way, depending on the type of dirt, you see. If I have dust on my hand, so I just take a cloth and dust it out. Okay? If I have oil on my hand, dusting out will be fine? No. We need something more. If you have oil there, you need something more than just a cloth. Cloth will not take it out clean. You need some detergent, something, soap. Asha? If you have glue on your hand, soap will do. You get some serious, crazy glue. Soap will not take out. You need some heavy artillery. So you need something like kerosene, something heavy, na? So depending on the type of dirt, that will tell what you have to use. So things like anger and desire and all that, mere prayers will not send up. Prayers actually brings calmness to the mind. But a calm mind, see, calm, still waters doesn't mean that there are no crocodiles underneath. Huh? Calm, still waters, there can be sharks below. So a calm mind is no guarantee. You know, sometimes you have a calm mind, okay. There's no guarantee that down below, all the impurities are not lurking. So we have to search, go down and accept what we have first, and then slowly with the guidance of scriptures, see how they are formed, what is the root, and remove the root. Anger's root is desire. Desire's root is attachment. Meaning of attachment, I feel I cannot do without certain things. Means I am dependent on certain things. My life is not complete without those things. Like that. I call attachment. So now, psychologically, we go inside. No, I'm fine. When I was born, I was fine. I did not have these things. I was fine that time. Later on also I was fine. Somehow that thing came and now I'm so attached. I can't do without that thing. So like that, we remove and they get what we saw in this last verse, number 5. All these negative things which we have to remove if we want to reach that state of enlightenment. No. The state of enlightenment is described in verse number 6 now. See that. न तद्भासयते सूर्यः
न तद्भासयते सूर्यः
न शशाङ्को न पावकः
न शशाङ्को न पावकः
यद्गत्वा न निवर्तन्ते
यद्गत्वा न निवर्तन्ते
तद्धाम परमं मम
तद्धाम परमं मम
तद्धाम परमं मम
तद्धाम परमं मम
न तद्भासयते सूर्यः. There, in that state, in the state of Godhood, in the state of enlightenment, in the state of liberation, moksha, mukti, in the state of Brahman, the absolute reality, na tad bhasayate surya, the sun doesn't shine there. It means the sun belongs to the phenomenal world which we experience and which we see. The sun belongs to this world. The sun itself is a product of that. The sun doesn't shine. Natad bhasayate surya. Na shashanko na pavakaha. Nor does the moon, nor does fire. It means nothing can illumine that. All the things in this universe are being illumined by that. That is the idea. Yad gatva, having gone there, nani vartante. Having gone there, there is no return to this world. It means to say, having merged with God, there is no return to this world. Tadhama paramama. That is my supreme abode. That is my supreme state, the Lord says. Now, what you're going to see in this verse, next verse, and few verses, is what is characteristically Hindu. Characteristically Hindu means what? The Hindus have always understood the world differently from the way others have understood the world. And the rishis have striven for precision and the absence of inconsistencies, where whatever is presented, promulgated, that thing can stand very independently on its own, based solely on logic, but can also be very much buttressed by shraddha, faith, belief, and all of those things. But they can stand very well logically. The rishis have always striven to do this, present things that stand very logically. So now, that is what you're going to see in the next verse, or in this verse here. So what Hindus present, that, well, let me back up a little bit and tell you, because the verses are presuming that you know so many things already. But I cannot presume that. No, Bhagavad Gita is presented like that. But I cannot presume that you know all the background things already. So I have to tell you all of those things. Now what is this? In Hinduism, what we call as Swarga or heaven is a place where we go for the enjoyment of the results of our good karmas. That is called as Swarga. But in 9th chapter he describes, see, there's a presumption that you studied 9th chapter, which I think you did not. In 9th chapter he says that Tetam bhuktva svargalokam vishalam. Kshine punya martya lokam vishanti. Means having gone there and enjoy the results, meritorious results of all of our karmas, which we have done here. And when it is exhausted, if you go to Miami to shop and your money is finished, what you'll do? Well, you have to come back home. If you don't, they'll kick you out. Isn't it? So when you go to Miami to shop with a certain amount of money, when the money is over, the very same when you go with good karmas to Swarga, when all those good karmas are over, because karmas get exhausted. And in Swarga, there is no creation of new karma. There is only exhaustion of karma. The only place karma is created or destroyed is right here. Created and destroyed. If we go to Swarga, it is only destroyed. We exhaust them. And if we do evil actions, we go to lower worlds, and again there we exhaust karmas. We don't create new ones. A donkey doesn't create new karma. Or a dog, or a cow. Only human beings create new karma. Devatas do not create new karmas. They only exhaust old ones. That is why Tulsidas has written in Ramayana in the back. Bhare bhagya manush tan pava. Sura durlabha sabha grantan hi gava. Sura means all the gods. The gods also, who in Swarga, Indra, Ityadi, in their countless number, they are countless in number. They also wish so much to get a human body, because in the human body, only a person can get moksha. It means he can exhaust all his karmas in this body and get moksha. There in Swarga, you only exhaust those karmas which you have done well. You enjoy those karmas, but there are still so many others left which they cannot exhaust. That is Devatas. So this is Hinduism, and all of them will have some logical antecedents, which of course I cannot go into a whole thesis right now, but I'm telling you what emerges in the end, right? I'll give you a simple example of how this thing sounds more logical than the other things presented to us. Let me just show you. So in Hinduism, what is presented? You go to Swarga, heavenly region, and you enjoy, and when you finish, you come back, right? The other theories which are presented in the world is that if you go to heaven, you stay there forever, right? In other religions, if you go there, you stay forever. So when you die, you have how many choices? Two choices. Either you go to heaven or you go to hell. One man was sitting by the bus stop waiting for a bus, and he was rocking like this, and he was saying, there is no such thing like heaven. There is no such thing like heaven. There is no such thing like heaven. So the man who was sitting next to him, he got fed up. He said, then why don't you go to hell? So either you go to heaven or you go to hell. And in some places there is perhaps a third choice where you go and you could perhaps make amends and do some correction. There's a correctional institute. You could go and make some corrections and this and that, and maybe after that you can go to some place, right? But anyway, how it is presented? Now, it is a very, very, very childish presentation of your destiny. Just tell me, a person's life, everybody's life is made up of many good actions and also many bad actions. No matter how bad a person may be, in his life also there will be some good actions. One judge is asking a pickpocket. A judge is asking a pickpocket, tell me, you're picking people's pocket all your life. What good thing have you done for this world? The judge got fed up with that fellow. What good thing you have done for this world? He said, Your Honor, I keep 5 policemen employed. No matter how bad that thing is, really that fellow also has some purpose in this world. If there were no criminals, there will be policemen. That is how the world is, because everything is intertwined, tied up, interrelated and interdependent. All things. Dvandva, we saw that Dvandva yesterday. Anyway, so a person will always have good karmas and bad karmas. Let us say that the person does 25% good karmas and 75% bad karmas. So in hell, if he goes forever, what became of his 25% good karmas? But in hell, he'll be given a fan for that. While everybody else roasting, he'll have a fan. That is a 25% good karma. It means listen, this heaven and hell thing is presented in Hinduism also. So I don't have to talk about other religions, This is presented in Hinduism also. Because within Hinduism. But the Hindu sages knew that this is an idea or theory or something which is propounded just to temporarily satisfy the intellectual curiosity of the seeker. But you don't expect a serious thinking intellectual being to adhere to that type of thing. The same Rishi comes on later on and tells, no, all these things, you wanted some answer to your question, so we gave you one to calm your mind. A person who is delirious, what you'll do? One who is delirious, you have to give him something. So, it is told here. This person will go there and that person will go there, and it's the story finished. But it's one of those puerile theories within the religion, given temporarily only. Like when a child comes and why it rains, because there's an elephant in the sky and he's spraying down water through his trunk. But the child believes. Belief is required. For belief, ignorance should be there. Please pay attention to this thing. This is a very, very important thing. For belief to take root, ignorance should be there. If there is no ignorance, belief could never take root. If I know that there is a rope there, means there is no ignorance of the rope. I know that there is a rope there. I have absolutely no ignorance of the rope. You cannot make me believe otherwise. Belief and ignorance go hand in hand. All belief is dependent on ignorance. Because I don't know, so I believe something. Whatever anybody tells me. You see? In Hinduism, belief is unnecessary. Everything is presented logically. That doesn't mean to say that we do not use belief. We use belief conveniently. It serves a purpose. But what I'm saying, it is unnecessary. That is like, the example I gave now. Your friend goes away to New York for 2 months and he leaves his car with you. And every day you are taking the bus instead. I mean, you have been taking the bus every day. And he leaves his car for you with you for 2 months. Then, instead of taking the bus, what do? You have the car for 2 months, you drive. But you don't need it. It is not necessary. You have been taking the bus all these years. You could very well take the bus. But the car is available. So drive. And the car is also good looking. He has rims and everything. And then, that is how belief is there in Hinduism. We start from the basic. Look here. You see me or you don't see me? You see me then. Second thing. Do you believe you see me or do you know that you see me? You know. So that's where Hinduism starts. If you see me, that means I exist. And the one who is seeing, that means he exists also. That they call as Sat. Existence they call as Sat. We just give a name to that. Existence. But the things in front of you, they all exist or not? Show me something in this world which does not exist. But look here, that's a contradiction, isn't it? If you could show me the thing, that means it exists. This is Hinduism. Anytime we add anything beyond this, and we go into the realm of belief, we say, okay, we are just using belief conveniently. But Hinduism is about existence right here, right now, in front of me. So we just use, otherwise, an entire religion based on belief, you keep everybody in ignorance for the rest of their existence. An entire religion based on belief means you're keeping everybody in ignorance, because for belief there must be ignorance. It's a prerequisite. If I know, then I don't believe. If I know, there is knowledge. If I don't know, there is ignorance. And when I don't know, I have to believe. And we say in Hinduism, where I am right here now, I know I exist, and I know that you exist, you're right there in front of me. You may not exist in the form that I think that you exist, but that's okay, but you still exist in some form. Whichever may be the real form, but there is existence. There's somebody who is knowing the existence. And right there is Hinduism. So we say, now, if we present anything in the realm of belief, we are doing it only conveniently. So now in this presentation of the rishis, what is there? The person has several options. When the person leaves this body, we'll talk about it just now, he merges with God if he gets enlightenment. He merges with reality, means his individuality disappears, and he merges with the eternal reality. That is called as moksha, mukti. If he hasn't gotten this moksha or mukti, he comes back into this world. So what is being sought through the Bhagavad Gita is to merge with God. Yad gatva nani vartante. Having reached that state, there is no coming back. That is what the verse is talking about. We do not pursue, in Hinduism, the pursuit is not heaven. The pursuit is to merge with God. That is the idea. There is an exception to that in Bhakti Yoga. In the Ramayana it is said, some devotees, they don't want to merge with God. They want to come back to love God and worship God and serve God and all that sort of thing. That is also allowed. अर्थन धर्मन काम रुचि गति न चहु निर्वाण ओ राम गति न चहु निर्वाण जन्म जन्म रति राम पद यह वरदान न आन सिया वर रामचंद्र की जय शरणम उमापति महादेव की जय पवन सुत हनुमान की जय बोलो भाई सब संतन की जय सियावर रामचंद्र की जय शरणम. Bharat tells in Ayodhya Kand, Prabhu, he's speaking to Ganga Maya. He said, Ma, please give me this one boon. I want this one boon, nothing else. What is that boon? I don't want dharma, artha, kama and moksha also. I don't want to merge with God. And all his dharma and all his worldly things, and I want none of it. Not even to merge with God. What I want? Janama. Let me take birth after birth. But in every birth, let me be Rati Rama Pada. Rati Rama Pada means let me revel in the feet of Bhagwan Shri Ram. I don't want this moksha with you. So bhaktas are like that. Because so much love is there for Bhagwan. That is allowed. But there is also those great jnanis who say, I don't want to come back to this sansar. I want to merge with God. Because, if I come back to this sansar, I am again coming back into duality, And see what happened to Bharat? How much of crying and sorrow and misery and shame and guilt and all sorts of, even though he came back from Ayodhya to go and meet Bhagwan Sri Ram in the forest. And then when he went there also, the Lord said, I am not coming back. You go back to Ayodhya and you rule. And he did not want any of that, but just to serve Bhagwan. So one subjects oneself to the duality again, even as a bhakta coming back to serve the Lord, and has to go through all of this. So the jnani say, no. I want to merge with God. So that is the meaning of that line. Yad gatva nani vartante. I merge with that Lord like a drop of water merging with the ocean. Can you retrieve? Can you, if a drop of water falls into the ocean, can you retrieve that drop of water? No chance. So this individual could merge with God like that, like a drop of water merging. You see? Now, a big question arises, The Lord is responsible for this world. It means, look here, there's another logical thing. See, one little fellow was there who believed in God, even though his parents were atheists. His parents did not believe in God. And this little fellow, his friends took him to satsang. And after going to satsang 1 or 2 times, he started believing, oh, there's a wonderful Prabhu Shri Ram in the world who is responsible for this world. So he went home and told his parents, no, they said, no, there is no such thing. They fool you. So the boy said, okay. So one day the mother and father, they were not home. And mother just cooked. The food was on the stove. And she went shopping, she and the husband. Left him alone. When they came back, he had set all the food on the table, on the dinner table. And he had put plates, cups, spoons, knife, fork, everything. He had laid out everything and he had lit 2 candles on the dinner table. So when the mother came back, she said, my God, who did all this? He said, nobody. Nobody? What do you mean nobody? He said, yes, the food just walked from the stove and came here. So did the plates, knife, fork, everything. They came. They just happened. They disappeared from there and appeared here. The mother said, look, stop joking. Stop joking with me. Who did this? He said, well, you all don't believe in God, na? So the stars and the moon and the sun and this earth and all the plants and all the human beings and all, they just appeared there. Nobody put them there because you don't believe in God. So if nobody put all of these things in place, nobody is responsible for it. Then here also, why the plate and the spoon and knife and everything cannot come? Nobody is responsible. It happened. It happened. Because according to you, there is no God. This world happened. So in the same way, the dinner table happened. Why are you asking who did it? Because your theory is things could just happen. Without a God, things could just happen. Simple logic. Simple logic. First cause, it is called in philosophy. The logic of first cause. There must be some prime mover. Means if this thing is here, there's somebody who moves it and puts it there. And there's somebody who had put the, see first, if this thing is here, somebody who put it there, and somebody who put the somebody there also. Because he's also there, isn't it? So if you go back like that, there has to be some prime mover, some first cause. Like that. So, in the next verse is presented the prime mover of this universe in Hinduism, and presented in a most wonderful and logical, philosophical way. In a very, very famous verse also of this chapter, Tulsidas also used this verse in his Ramayana. Tulsidas has quoted or used so many of the ideas from Bhagavad Gita in his Ramayana. Mame vamsho jiva loke,
Mame vamsho jiva loke,
jiva bhuta sanatanaha,
jiva bhuta sanatanaha,
manashasthani indriyani,
manashasthani indriyani,
prakritisthani karshati,
prakritisthani karshati,
prakritisthani karshati.
prakritisthani karshati.
ईश्वर अंश जीव विनाशी, चेतन अमल सहज सुख राशि। चेतन अमल सहज सुख राशि। श्री राम जय राम जय जय राम। Tulsidas is writing in this chapai, Ishvara Amsa Jiva. The Jiva is an Amsha of Ishvara. Amsha means a fraction, a part. The Jiva, the one who lives in this body, is called as Jiva. He is a part or a fraction of Ishvara. And it comes from here. Mama eva amshaha jiva. In Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavan Shri Krishna is that the jiva is an amsha of me. Bhagavan is saying, Mama eva amshaha jiva. Jiva located in this world in which the jiva is living. The jiva is a fraction of Bhagavan. Now, you have to understand this thing. It is not that Bhagavan is somewhere else and a fraction of him came here and is living here, and Bhagavan is there. That is not to be understood like that. Let me tell you the meaning of the verse first, and then in this world of jivas, the jivas are nothing but a fraction of Ishvara. Jiva loke, jiva bhuta sanatanaha. These fractions of the Lord have become jivas, individualized beings, right? Manashasthani indriyani prakritisthani karshati. Staying in this prakriti, in this nature, the jiva draws to him 5 senses and the mind, which is the 6th sense. Oh. I'll give you a nice example. How are we a fraction of God? Like this. Not that God is somewhere else and a fraction came from that somewhere else and is here now. God is like, just take for example, you ocean of water. So let's say all this is water, right? And you take a glass. आइए please. एक कुर्सी और आगे लाइए. Okay. We have some special guests visiting from United States. We'll ask Bhaiya to address you briefly just now. So I am describing to you now how exactly this amsha of God is to be understood. Don't think that it is a fraction of God existing separately from. We are not a fraction of God existing separately from God. Part and parcel. So just take all this to be water, and you have here a glass in the middle of the water. Now there will be water inside, there will be water outside, right around the glass, right? But you see, this water here will be demarcated by the glass. But it will not be separated from the rest of the water, just demarcated by the glass. In the very same way, the reality, God, Satchitananda, is all pervasive in this universe, and part of that reality is demarcated by this body, and part is demarcated by your body, like a glass. This body is like the glass. So all the objects in the world are just like that glass, even a dead thing. This demarcates a part of the reality. Space, because it exists, demarcates a part of the reality. And so like that, every single thing that you can see in the universe, they all demarcate a part of the reality. It is not that the reality is separate somewhere and I'm a fraction of him living here and he living there. Not that thing. God is all pervasive. He's called as Sarva Vyapi. Here, there, and everywhere. And the logical extension of that, he is everything in the universe. It is not that, oh, he's some things and he's not some things, and he's in some things and he's not in some things, and all that kind of thing. But you do that, when you hold an idea like that, you're putting limitations on God, and God is in no sense limited. If you put any limitation on God, it means something is defective in your thinking. There is limitation in your thinking. You see? Absolutely no limitation from no point of view we can put. So that Lord is all pervasive. It means he's just demarcated here by this body, demarcated by this thing. And here we call God as microphone. Here we call God as human being. Here we call God as fan. Here we call God as space. That is the idea. So everything in the universe is a fraction of God. No. Why the Lord is saying the Jiva, the one who lives inside, is a fraction? Because that Jiva is conscious. He's giving prominence to the Jiva, which is conscious. But here he exists as existence, not consciousness. The microphone is not conscious of me. I'm conscious of the microphone. Here he exists as all three. Sat, Chit, Anand. Here God is only in the form of existence. This microphone doesn't feel any bliss, you know. I am so happy to be a microphone. I could do some seva. He doesn't feel any bliss. Nor does he feel any sorrow also, the opposite. But the microphone exists or not. So out of Satchitananda, there is only Sat manifesting here. So in some places, all three manifest. In some places, only one will manifest. In some places, two will manifest. Like in the plant, you will have two only in a plant. Existence and bliss. The plant is dances in the dewdrops. There's bliss. When the sun comes out, sunflower, he smiles. But he's not conscious. The plant is not conscious. This morning I heard that the fellow is coming with the lawnmower, the bushwhacker. He's not aware of that. He's blissfully existing there, even though the fellow coming with a bushwhacker. So when the scripture writes, we are an amsha of God, it means the jiva who is living inside, that one, that conscious one, is an amsha of the conscious reality. Now, the rest of the verse tells about something else. How this universe came out of that reality. How this universe came out of God. It says, Manashasthani indriyani prakritisthani karshati. Now you go back to the water example. You go back to the water example. Suppose, all this is water in front of me. Those people who are listening on radio really cannot see what I am talking about. All in front of me here is only water. Now, right just in front of me, one cube of water, 4 inches by 4 inches by 4 inches, solidifies. It becomes solid. It is prior to that liquid and suddenly becomes solid. So what that water actually does to itself, I'm just saying this is possible, just a possibility. Let's say it just happens. What the water is actually doing to itself, that a little bit of water is drawing to itself name, shape, size, texture, all that sort of thing. So its texture is hard. It became a cube. Then its size, it is 4 by 4 by 4. Then it also acquired a name. What is that name? Cube. Now his name is Mr. Cube. Then it also acquires an identity and a distinction that demarcates it and sets it apart from the rest of the water. But deep down, basically, that fellow is H2O like the rest of the water. Only thing that he has really picked up an identity and demarcated himself, distinguished himself with certain features. So this is exactly how a jiva is formed. Manashasthani, within the body of God himself, one part of God, like this one part of the water here now, draws something to himself and demarcates himself. Within the body of God, one fraction of God draws to himself a mind and 5 senses. The mind is the 6th sense. And there jiva is formed. But where does it get the power to do that? That is inherent in God, because God has an inherent power called as Maya, which is infinite. That power is infinite also. So inherent in that reality is the power to do this. The water might not have the power to crystallize into a cube unless it gets some external influence, which is coldness or some other thing, But God is infinite, and his power, his Maya Shakti, is also infinite. So, whatever is necessary for the crystallization of a jiva within the body of God, body here don't think body is like this body. Within God himself, that power is inherent. If the power is not inherent, then God is not infinite. The power has to be inherent. There has to be no power lacking. Then God is not complete, not total, not purna. Purna means full, total, complete. So the power for a jiva to crystallize within the reality itself, that is inherent in the reality itself. That is how a jiva is formed. It draws to himself mind and 5 senses. And that power is called the power of Maya. I call it, sometimes called it Prakriti of the Lord. And that word is given here. Prakriti Sthani. Staying in the Prakriti. It means that emergence of the Jiva within God happens only because of the inherent Prakriti in the Lord Himself. Inherent Maya. You see? And what happens? That Jiva draws to himself also a body. And then when he dies, and at certain occasions, he drops this body and goes and takes up another body. That is given in the next verse. Shariram yadavapnoti
Shairam Yadavapnoti
yachapyutkramati shvaraha
Yachapyutkramati Shvaraha
grihitvaitani samyati
Grihitvaitani Samyati
vayurgandhani vashayat
Vayurgandhani Vashayat
vayurgandhani vashayat.
Vayurgandhani Vashayat
Yachapi utkramayati ishvaraha. When the jiva from this body, jiva who is here, drops this body, utkramayati, and he moves on, he picks up avapnoti shariram. He takes up another body. We go from body to body. That's why some people call you somebody. Because you go on taking up body, from body to body. Grihitva etani. Grihitva etani samyati. He goes well. Samyati means he goes never to come back. It means when you are dead, you are dead. Once you drop this body, you drop this. Samyakyati means he goes well. You don't see the person dies and after 2 days he decided, I made a mistake, That jiva made a mistake. He left his body and went somewhere, made a mistake, I came back for my body. If in Hinduism he's in trouble because he's already burnt. Other religion he might have a chance, right? Because he might be there. Samyati means he goes well, never to come back in that body. That is the first thing. Then, going, what he does? Grihitva etani, having grabbed these. What these? Having grabbed these, he goes. What these? The same 5 senses and the mind which was spoken about in the previous verse. Manashasthani indriyani. 5 senses and the mind. He grabs them and he goes. Yep. And how? Vayur gandhani vashayat. An example is given. Remember, the jiva is not a tangible thing, right? The jiva is not something that is visible, that you can see, and not tangible. So the jiva goes, and so you can't say, the jiva died inside the house and the house was locked, so the jiva couldn't come out. Means that human being died inside the house and the house was locked, so the jiva couldn't come out. No. The jiva is a subtle being, and with the gross things which you see in this world, those gross things are not any bars or barricade or imprisonment for that jiva. Even this body is not a bar, an imprisonment. The jiva can come out from anywhere. Just like a magician can pull out anything from anywhere. The jiva could come out from anywhere. So the jiva comes out from that body and goes with these 5 senses and the mind, the 6th sense. The mind is called a 6th sense. This is where the word comes from. People say this Bhagavad Gita is 5,000 years old. It's not, It is much older than that. So Westerners went into India and gave ages for these things. 5,000 years old. Not so much older. Bhagwan Shri Krishna's Dwarka is just dug up in the ocean recently. And they are dating it 30,000 years old. If Dwarka is 30,000 years old, Bhagwan Shri Krishna went to Dwarka after he gave this Gita. Dwarka is 30,000 years old, which is dug up in Gujarat now, right? So if he gave this Bhagavad Gita before he went to Dwarka, means how old is Gita now? And foreigners come into India and this Gita is, might be scholars, foreign scholars. so short-sighted. It might be just around the time of Buddha, which is 2000 years old, or it might even be post-Buddhist. They say less than 2000 years old, 2500, huh? Less than that. Based on what? Some silly words and all they see inside there, and so they make up some fancy theories and all. Nirvana mrichati. In second chapter, the word nirvana is used. So Buddha used to use that word. Look, based on that, this thing might be around the time of Buddha. Nirvana word. Silly things. So now, how old is this? Where Bhagavan is saying, Manashasthani, the mind is the sixth sense. Have you heard that term? Mind is the sixth sense. See where it comes from? How ancient? 30,000-40,000 years old. So the example which is given there is the jiva takes the mind and the five senses and he moves on to another body somewhere else in the universe, and it is like the wind taking scents. When there's a lady of the night, what is it? Rat ki Rani, queen of the night. Rat ki Rani, not lady of the night, isn't it? Queen of the night, yes. So that scent comes out from there, and the wind takes that scent and takes it all the way down 5 blocks away. So there's one subtle thing embedded in another subtle thing. So the scent is subtle and the wind is also subtle. So the one subtle thing embedded in another subtle thing. So the mind and senses embedded in the subtle mind and senses, subtle mind and senses embedded in jiva, which is also subtle, and goes and lodges itself, is drawn. Elsewhere in the scriptures it is so, it is drawn to an environment where the karmas match the karmas of this jiva. That environment allows a perfect occasion or a perfect combination of situations for all of these karmas to exhaust themselves or to manifest themselves in that environment. Like, for example, suppose here, this jiva, in his mind, he was a great musician. He's playing music every day, and music is peeping out from his ears also. Music coming out from his soul, as we say. Now, he will be drawn to an environment where he'll have an opportunity to manifest that music. That is why you see, I don't know if you have taken time to notice this. I remember in our village, the father playing tassa. The father used to play tassa. When the little boys, I'm talking about 5 years old, 6 years old, they take sticks and they beat milk pans, milk tins with such precision that thing sounds exactly like tassa. Little 5-year-old boys. How they came in that house. And you give an adult person the real tassa, he can't even bring any sound out of it. Isn't it? Real tassa, no sound. I mean, what sound? When you hear, you run away. He doesn't play tassa, he plays with it. Some child prodigy. Children are born singing. Right? And an adult person? One lady is telling a man, I spent $10,000 in music lessons to learn to sing. So that man said, I have a friend I want to introduce you to. So the lady said, really? What is he? An agent? He'll organize some concert. That man said, no, he's a lawyer, he'll help you get back your money. Child prodigy. They were born singing. That is That jiva was coming with that subtle impressions embedded on his mind, and he's drawn to an environment where he gets an opportunity to manifest that thing, to exhaust all of those prarabdha karma and all. So the idea is given here, which is given here, is that idea of reincarnation. What is that? Reincarnation. Fundamental to Hinduism. Reincarnation. And there are many people in the world who say, I do not believe in reincarnation. One fellow went to a Mahatma and he said, oh Mahatma ji, I do not believe in reincarnation. That Mahatma ji said, ठीक है, कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ता, doesn't matter. In your next life you will believe. It means you will be born in this world whether you like it or not. And that's why now you don't believe, but one life, two lives, three lives down the road you will. Do you know, in World War II, at around the time of World War II, the survey showed that no more than 2% of the people in Europe, in the Western societies, believed in reincarnation. 2%. You know what is today in America, Western society? 35% and climbing. 35% means people. Now America doesn't have 35% Hindus. Hindus in America is about 1.5%, perhaps. So where the other 40%, 34% come from? One thing about natural laws, let me tell you this thing about natural laws in the universe. Natural laws are such, their operation and their existence and their operation do not depend on your belief. You may believe or you may not believe, that is beside the point. You see, natural laws, they just happen and they continue, whether you like it, know it, believe it, accept it, or whatever. Doesn't matter. It's a natural law. So, like for example, gravity. Natural law is there. You cannot say, I do not believe in the law of gravity. We say, okay, climb on this house and jump. Let us see if the law will act on you. The law will operate on you or not. All the same, regardless of your belief. And the reverse of that is true as well. If every single living individual on this earth believed that this earth is flat, which they used to believe, they believe that this earth is flat, that does not make the earth flat. Truth has nothing to do with democracy and belief. This is what I was telling just now. Belief is inherently dependent on ignorance. And truth has nothing to do with that. Ignorance. So now, the law of karma is the only intellectually acceptable law for any thinking person. Otherwise, there will be so many. You know, one fellow I met, he did not believe in reincarnation. So I said, Bhaiya, you just tell me one thing. If you don't believe in reincarnation, right? It means to say that people can do wrong things in this world and they can get away with it. Because let's say just before a man dies, he does something wrong. And he goes, now you see, because of the theory is that if you do about, let us say 55% good, you will go to heaven. Let us say about 51%. You will go to heaven. But what about the 49% evil things which you did? So you will not, because in heaven there is no suffering, right? So you will not pay for that. Answers are not forthcoming. The other thing is that if you don't accept karma and rebirth, then you will have to accept one more thing which I asked him. That is, you will do some karma and I will pay for it. He says yes. He told me yes. He believes firmly that you could do some karma and I will pay for it. But that has to be the craziest thing in the universe, isn't it? You do something wrong, you murdered somebody, and I got hung. They hung me. Huh? I got the electric chair. And the lawyer taking me there. And I asked the lawyer, any last advice? The lawyer said, don't sit. Look here, it doesn't happen. Alright, so this verse is talking about reincarnation. I will again join this thing